Veteran slams WWE for the Bloodline segment on SmackDown, replacements for Kevin Owens following his injury, updated SummerSlam 2023 match card after WWE Raw, Vince McMahon to prove that he's a fan LA Knight by pushing him, Brock Lesnar's next feud revealed, Bray Wyatt to bring back the Demon after WWE return, and more. Let's jump right into it. Replacements for Kevin Owens following his injury. WWE Raw was quite the show for the Judgment Day. 2 of the 4 stars competed in matches, while the other 2 members stood tall over their rivals. Needless to say, it was a successful night for the stable. One person who did not have a good night, however, was Kevin Owens. He was viciously attacked backstage while Sami Zayn and Dominic Mysterio put on a fun match in the ring. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, possibly with the help of Finn Balor, did a number on the prizefighter. KD revealed it, and later Seen Ross Sapp of Fightful Select confirmed that Kevin is suffering from a legitimate undisclosed injury. It isn't clear how serious the issue is, but it was enough to keep him out of action for this show. If Owens' injury is bad enough to keep him out of the ring for the coming weeks or worse, coming months, Sami Zayn will need a new partner. This piece will look at 4 possible stars who could team up with the underdog from the underground while Kevin recovers. Here are 4 possible replacements for Kevin Owens following his injury. Number 4. Wes Lee likely wants revenge on the Judgment Day. Wes Lee is one of WWE's most talented performers. He excelled in the tag team ranks alongside Nash Carter and MSK. After winning tag team gold, Lee went on to win the NXT North American Championship. The talented star has the accolade of being the longest reigning NXT North American champion in WWE history. Unfortunately, he lost the belt to Dominic Mysterio. Of course, the rest of the Judgment Day played a big role in that happening. Since the stable cheated to help Dirty Dom win gold, Wes will likely seek revenge. One way for him to gain a measure of payback is for Lee to side with Sami Zayn and help fight off the fearsome foursome. Plus, appearing on Raw would only raise his name value. Number 3. Apollo Crews stood up to Judgment Day on WWE Raw. Apollo Crews is an extremely underrated WWE superstar. While he didn't hold gold on NXT, he made quite an impression on the brand. Meanwhile, he has held the United States and Intercontinental Championships on the main roster. The athletic Crews felt disrespected by the Judgment Day when they passed by him on WWE Raw. While Crews' real-life friend Akira Tozawa immediately backed down from Rhea Ripley, Apollo stood up to Damian Priest. The two went on to have a match later in the same show. While Apollo ultimately lost to Priest, he put up a good fight against Sin or Money in the Bank. He showed guts that a lot of the roster lacks. He and Sami could team up to fight off other opposition, Judgment Day included, at least until Kevin is back in action. Number 2. Seth Rollins has sided with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn before. Seth Rollins is one of the all-time greats. He's a former multi-time WWE champion and currently the World Heavyweight Champion. He's also held numerous other belts, including the Intercontinental title, Raw Tag Team titles, and the NXT Championship. The Visionary has his own issues with the Judgment Day. He has been feuding with Finn Balor for weeks now. The two were set to clash at WWE SummerSlam, but before they could, Rollins was brutally assaulted by the stable on Raw. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins have united recently, so would it be logical or Seth to stand by Sami when Owens isn't around? Given that the underdog from the underground attempted to help Seth fight off the fearsome foursome as Raw came to a close, it would make sense for the Visionary to have his back moving forward too. Number 1. Johnny Gargano needs to be back on television immediately. Johnny Gargano was arguably the face of WWE NXT. He held the North American Championship, Tag Team titles, and the NXT Championship. Gargano was also a headliner on many of the NXT TakeOver events before the premium live events were rebranded. While Johnny Wrestling has tangled with some of the members of the Judgment Day in the past, this selection is less about his obvious link to the group or Sami. Instead, WWE has barely used Johnny in months, which has been quite upsetting for many fans. The former NXT champion returning and aligning with Sami Zayn to fight off Judgment Day could be the perfect way to get him back into the mix. He and Kevin Owens also have a lot of history together, so he could end up sticking around the talented pair even after the prizefighter returns. Either way, he deserves to be back on TV. Updated SummerSlam 2023 match card after WWE Raw. Here's your first look at the updated SummerSlam 2023 match card after WWE Raw. The biggest party of the summer features 7 matches thus far. The company had already announced matches for superstars including Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. Ricochet appeared on WWE Raw this week and challenged Logan Paul to a match at SummerSlam. The Maverick blindsided the human highlight reel with a sneak attack and accepted his challenge. Ricochet recovered and retaliated with a super kick. He then delivered a standing inverted splash on the social media megastar. Backstage, Logan Paul said he was assaulted by Ricochet and would be back next week on Raw to take him out. The updated SummerSlam 2023 match card now features these 2 amazing performers. Shayna Baszler cut a backstage promo on Ronda Rousey elsewhere during the show. The Queen of Spades said she'll take out her former best friend for good in a fight at the biggest party of the summer. Rousey accepted the match, which will likely carry some sort of stipulation. Gunther accepted Drew McIntyre's challenge for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. The ring general tried to take out the Scottish Warrior after his match against Ludwig Kaiser, but was powerbombed onto the announce table instead. Finally, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor signed their contract for the World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam. This was a trap set up by Balor to ambush Rollins. The show ended with the Judgment Day standing tall over a fallen World Heavyweight Champion. Here is the updated SummerSlam 2023 match card as of Monday, July 24. Roman Reigns, the champion, with Paul Heyman and Solo versus Jey Uso. Tribal combat for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Asuka, the champion, versus Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair. Triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Seth freaking Rollins, the champion, versus Finn Balor. Singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther, the champion, versus Drew McIntyre. Singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. Singles match. Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. Singles match. Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Singles match. Cody Rhodes cut a promo on Raw this week. The American Nightmare had a lot to say about his beatdown at the hands of Brock Lesnar last week on the Red Brand. Rhodes said he's going to embarrass the Beast at SummerSlam. The two are reportedly set to square off in a gimmick match, but WWE hasn't announced any stipulation for sit bouts so far. The company did announce that Brock Lesnar will return to the show next week to answer the challenge. It remains to be seen how the final SummerSlam card will look like up next week on Raw. How would you rate the updated SummerSlam 2023 match card thus far? Let us know in the comments section below. Seth Rollins' former rival helps him stand up after WWE Raw goes off air. WWE superstar Seth Rollins received some help from a former rival after tonight's edition of Raw went off the air. The final segment of WWE Raw saw Rollins and Finn Balor making their upcoming SummerSlam match official. The two veterans are all set to collide in a World Heavyweight Championship match at the biggest party of the summer. The segment ended in chaos as Seth Rollins was outnumbered by the Judgment Day and left lying in the middle of the ring. After the cameras stopped rolling, a fan captured a wholesome video. The clip shows Sami Zayn entering the ring and helping Rollins stand up. He then picked up the World Heavyweight title and handed it over to Seth as fans cheered in unison. Rollins and Zayn are two of the biggest babyfaces on the WWE roster today. The two stars have collided on 5 occasions over the years, with the former being 4-1 over Zayn. The latter has emerged as a massive babyface over the past few months, primarily due to his exit from Roman Reigns' Bloodline faction. As for Finn Balor, Rollins is hell-bent on putting him down at WWE SummerSlam. In 2018, the Visionary chatted with Mirror Sport and predicted that Balor would become Universal Champion again. Oh, for sure, he will. Finn Balor is one of the most talented guys I've ever been in the ring with. He's a world-traveled veteran, and overall, he's just a great dude and a great human being. Our industry works in cycles, and Finn is where he's at and doing fantastic, but he is 100% going to get more opportunities and more cracks at that Universal title. I guarantee you it's not the last time you'll see Finn Balor as Universal Champion. I feel like he's got more title reigns to come in the future, Rollins said. Only time will tell if Seth Rollins' prediction comes true and Finn Balor wins a top title again. Judgment Day might be the deciding factor when all is said and done at SummerSlam. Share your thoughts on Rollins and Zayn's heartfelt moment after Raw went off the air. Vince McMahon to prove that he's a fan of LA Knight by pushing him. In case you didn't know, Vince McMahon has reportedly grown to become a fan of LA Knight, the 40-year-old veteran. However, little has been done to show WWE's faith in the megastar, which needs to change soon. Every superstar's push typically depends on whether Vince McMahon likes them. Mick Foley once said that to be pushed in WWE, the executive chairman needs to be a fan of yours. After a report emerged that McMahon has grown to become a fan of LA Knight this year after noticing his rise in stardom. No moment encapsulated his popularity better than when WWE went to London and he was the most popular star on the roster. He has also been consistently getting the best reactions, and so far we've had rumors that his push was coming after WrestleMania, then after Money in the Bank, and now after SummerSlam. McMahon needs to start seriously pushing LA Knight after SummerSlam 2023, hopefully leading into bigger things as WrestleMania season begins. Otherwise, the interest may decrease. One person Vince McMahon has most definitely become a fan of is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. He has thrived under McMahon, and in the trailer of the upcoming documentary, Kevin Owens revealed that Vince personally flew out to see the American Nightmare to convince him to sign with WWE. In return, Cody said he demanded he didn't want his presentation changed, including his theme song, logo, and entrance with the lift. From the look of things, the negotiations worked out, and McMahon was convinced that he was ready for the big time. While we don't expect LA Knight to receive the same push, it will be interesting to see how things play out with him. Brock Lesnar's next feud revealed. Brock Lesnar is ready to face Cody Rhodes in a rubber match at SummerSlam. The bout at the biggest party of the summer will hopefully mark an end to the feud between the two. While the American Nightmare is expected to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship, there is doubt surrounding Lesnar's future post-SummerSlam. However, if WWE wants, there is a feud for Lesnar they could book. In fact, the potential rivalry would also generate a lot of viewership for WWE. It will involve the current champion dropping his title at SummerSlam. The champion in question is Imperium leader Gunther. The Austrian will defend his Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. If the Austrian is booked to lose this match, he could go on to start a feud with Brock Lesnar because the latter does not seem the person to go after the IC title. A feud with Lesnar would also help the ring general elevate to a higher level and challenge for a world title later this year. One reason the feud between Gunther and Lesnar makes sense is because of the history they share. At this year's Royal Rumble, Gunther and Lesnar collided with each other. Since then, many hope to see this rivalry between the powerhouses. Brock Lesnar is one of the most explosive athletes on the planet. Due to the physical specimen that he is, Lesnar has achieved success everywhere he has gone. Naturally, this leads to a lot of eyeballs on the 46-year-old. While some look to feud with Lesnar because of his fame, others wish to tame the beast. During an exclusive interview with Sportskeeda, the ring general mentioned he looked up to Lesnar. He also added that the 46-year-old would be the biggest obstacle in his career. I said that before. I think he's definitely somebody I looked up to. I always admired him for how he handles himself in his business and stuff. For me personally, I think he's my biggest obstacle at some point in my career. If there's a chance that this happens, I would love to do that, of course, said Gunther. Considering a feud with Brock Lesnar is what Gunther wants, it won't be a surprise to see WWE booking the same this year. Lesnar and Gunther have wrestling styles that have attracted audiences over the years. When the do finally clash against each other, it will be great to see whose style prevails. Why is there no stipulation for Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam? Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar is set for SummerSlam. The two superstars will collide in a rubber match at the biggest party of the summer. It was previously reported that WWE wanted to do a gimmick match between two of its biggest stars. As of this writing, the company hasn't announced a stipulation for the match. WWE might not want to do two stipulation matches on top of the card for SummerSlam. The company has already announced a tribal combat match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for its big event. They might wait until the go-home edition of Raw to reveal a stipulation for Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. The American Nightmare was destroyed by the Beast last week on Raw. Lesnar applied the Kimura on Rhodes during their brawl and refused to let go of the hold. Rhodes appeared on Raw this week to answer his rival's challenge. The 2023 Royal Rumble winner said he wants to embarrass Lesnar at SummerSlam. The two have been at war with each other for months. Lesnar kicked off the feud when he attacked Rhodes before their tag team match against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa on the Raw after WrestleMania 39. The Beast took out Rhodes with multiple F5s on the announcer's desk and steel steps. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar had their first singles match at Backlash in Puerto Rico. The American Nightmare won the bout with a roll-up pin. They met for the second time at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia on May 27. Lesnar won the second match after Rhodes passed out to the Kimura. The feud continued after the 38-year-old star issued an open challenge to the Beast. It remains to be seen if we will get a stipulation for Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar next week on Raw. Regardless, the two are set for an epic battle at SummerSlam, which takes place at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan on August 5. What's your take on this story? Let us know in the comments section below. Bray Wyatt to bring back the Demon after WWE return. WWE SummerSlam is just around the corner, and reports of Bray Wyatt's return have been swirling all around the internet. According to a recent report from Zero News, Wyatt is likely to make his return at the Detroit Spectacle and invade one of the three main event matches on the card. There have been various speculations that the Eater of Worlds will prey upon Finn Balor during his match as his first victim. Moreover, there's a very good possibility that the Fiend will make his presence felt at SummerSlam and summon the Demon King following his attack on Balor. This definitely looks plausible, and if it happens, it will blow the roof off the Ford Field Stadium, keeping fans on their feet. The Fiend versus Demon Balor is a few fans have long waited to see. Finn Balor's alter ego was last seen at WrestleMania 39, and Bray Wyatt could potentially bring it back. Not only will it kick off Wyatt's first feud following his much-anticipated return, but it will also capture the attention of the WWE Universe. Bray Wyatt's return will, therefore, invigorate the ongoing WWE product. Finn Balor will lock horns with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. With this being Balor's second opportunity, he is rumored to win the title, putting an end to Rollins' inaugural reign. Just as Balor will be celebrating his win standing in the middle of the ring, the lights of the entire arena could go out with a spooky sound. Bray Wyatt's cryptic laugh could reverberate throughout the entire arena, which would wrap the ambience of Ford Field in trepidation. The light will be back, and the Fiend could be seen standing just behind the newly crowned champion. As Finn Balor turns, Wyatt will wrap him up and hit the Sister Abigail to a thunderous reaction from over 50,000 fans. If this happens, it will surely make fans go berserk and will receive the loudest pop WWE has seen in recent times. After wreaking havoc on Finn Balor, the Fiend could likely stare at the Judgment Day member and tell him to bring back his alter ego, the Demon King. This would potentially be one of the best returns in WWE in the form of Bray Wyatt. It could lead to a match between the Fiend and the Demon, which many believe to be a dream bout. Moreover, this will catapult the return of the Leader of Darkness in a way that will put him in the spotlight once again. Veteran slams WWE for the Bloodline segment on SmackDown. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo was not impressed by the contract signing segment on SmackDown this past Friday. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso met in the middle of the ring to discuss the rules of engagement for their match at SummerSlam. However, Jey tore apart the contract and stated that the two would engage in a tribal combat. He claimed that was the only way the Samoan elders wanted to see this family feud settled. This week on Legion of Raw, Russo recalled watching the segment. He claimed to be a big fan of Reigns and the Usos. However, the former writer explained that WWE was just using these contract signing segments to prolong the feud week after week. I watched the Bloodline segment on Raw. Come on, bro, like seriously? This is a great segment. Sitting at a table, buying time for next week. I'm a fan of Roman Reigns, I'm a fan of the Usos, but I watched this big segment and I'm like, really? This is the great stuff they're doing on SmackDown? Come on, bro. The final segment of Monday Night Raw featured the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and #1 contender Finn Balor in the ring for a contract signing. Rollins made it clear that his adversary was not winning the title, and even if he did, Damian Priest would cash in on him. The Visionary anticipated that Judgment Day might attack, and he flipped the table. An all-out brawl ensued, and the numbers game caught up with Seth. Sami Zayn rushed out with a chair. The faction pummeled him too. Finally, Priest hit a razor's edge on the champ, followed by a frog splash by Dominic Mysterio and a coup de grace by Balor, bringing the show to an end with Seth writhing in pain. Do you agree with Russo's take on WWE's contract signings? Let us know in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me